Hello, I'm Jonathan. This is Gary. We are Chelsea Blue, and we are going to be reviewing the rather excellent's the wrong word, isn't it? Because they didn't really play excellent. I'm starting again. Hello, I'm Jonathan. This is Gary, and we are Chelsea Blue. We are going to be discussing the 1-0 victory over dirty Leeds at the weekend at Wembley in the semi-final of the FA Cup, which was something of an improvement, Gary, don't you think, on the previous 5 games when we hadn't scored any goals at all?
Yeah, well, at least they showed some passion and fight, and that's the first big improvement, which was
Oh,
almost non-existent. Certainly at Brighton, and then the other games it wasn't there either. So they did actually show desire, and actually almost as if they wanted to actually win the game, which I thought was a good start.
which they
And we
did.
did actually,
Except the trouble was the second half they won it in a way that I didn't think that they would win it in, because they just effectively defended the 1-0. But still, they
yeah.
held out. They held out well with a.
I think actually a couple of things. I think actually Callum sort of was quite clever in his lineup because he got the Tosin pick right, and I thought that's not going to work, but actually it did. He was physically strong and in the air won everything as well. So that was quite a good.
He's a very good communicator as well, apparently, in the dressing room.
Yeah, I think they like him. Yes, and
Yeah, they all like
yeah,
him. Yeah,
and I think just the setup was what I call back to your basic football, which is great. Which is Sanchez gets the ball, boots it up, and he can boot it up
yes,
well.
yes,
And he
yes,
got another man. Pedro could control the ball brilliantly, which he does.
yes.
Suddenly, ball halfway up the field, and somebody can actually control the ball.
Yes, and it
Uh,
stretched them, and it meant they couldn't press as much, which,
Yeah,
hey, was exactly the way to play against Leeds, because
exactly,
we knew they
exactly.
were going to press us. So
And
therefore,
also, I
you
think
just play long whenever, yeah. And
it worked.
the goal to get to the goal early in our conversation, but let's
Yeah,
get to it, was exactly an example of that. It was the ball bashed up by Sanchez to, in fact, Neto was the man who did the
he was in
challenge.
he was in the skirmish, wasn't he?
Yeah,
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 it was. Yeah,
with their fullback, he got it and gave it to Pedro, and Pedro then gave it back to him
yes.
as he went down the wing, and it was an inch perfect
Well, I mean, the
centre
cross was classic, and also what I think the
to
cross was great,
Fernandez. Yeah,
but also what he did was, which I think was clever, is his run was sort of timed, but he held back. He didn't
yes,
go forward.
yes.
So
I
that's
think he
that's
even
what
did a feint to go forward and then
yeah,
came
it
back and
didn't. The
headed
ball
it.
comes in, and I mean, one thing I would say about Enzo, which I didn't realise, he scored. That's his 13th goal of the season.
Yes, yes.
Now, for a midfield player, whatever way you're looking at it, apparently the second highest midfield uh, goal scorer this season. I think somebody's got 16. I can't remember what it is, but he's second after that.
Yeah,
So
but he's inconsistent. That's the problem, isn't it, with him? I,
yeah, I
I
mean,
feel that he disappears from games, and his shooting is occasionally woeful. He just leans back and it goes over the bar.
yeah,
Despite
no.
his 13, I think if he'd actually hit the target more often,
Well, you'd be up to
yeah,
Frank's level
yeah,
of
yeah.
20. Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's been
Unfortunately,
studying.
Frank's always the yardstick that we use.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
yeah. But also,
particularly
they said
since.
Enzo's been studying. So apparently, footage of Lampard. He's watched him a lot.
Well, we may notice if he'd been watching the footage that Frank didn't hit the ball over the bar very
No,
often,
no. He said
which is what
he was
Enzo
watching his
does.
late runs into the
Like,
box.
right, yeah,
Well,
clearly not the shooting
yeah,
aspect of
but
it. Yeah.
late runs he's got going quite well, but
He's
he has
got
got
that better. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But I thought his
But
first half was the best he's played for Chelsea
yeah,
this year.
I mean, the whole team. I
Anything
think
without any.
everybody was up for it. Everybody played well, and basically Leeds didn't do much anyway. They ran out of ideas whenever they went
Well, I
forward
think they
anyway.
were a bit nervy, which is what I prophesied. I remember
Yes,
we were
yes.
speaking about it last time. Was that because in '94 when we'd gone there, was the first time we'd been there for 24 years.
Mm,
There
mm.
was a terrible tension in the crowd. I mean,
It's
the
a
very
big
fact
game
that
if you haven't played it. I mean,
oh,
a
but
big.
also the fact that at the very beginning when all the songs were starting and the commentator was saying Leeds fans, here you are, Chelsea fans. Leeds were absolutely about 20
Yeah,
minutes before the game started. Leeds fans packed. They're all singing
but we
away.
weren't there. There's
No,
hardly any
Chelsea
Chelsea
fans
fans
weren't there.
there.
They hadn't turned up yet because it's our 18th, isn't it? Our 18th cup
They
semi.
come in 10 minutes before the end and before the game starts, and start chanting.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what we knew what they were going to do.
yeah.
But I
So
think also I have to say, I mean, Sanchez, not only is he transformed as a goalkeeper when he kicks the ball long, he then looks a very, very good goalkeeper because his
yeah,
saves were terrific. But he suddenly, if you ever see somebody go into a nervous breakdown on a pitch, It's him when he gets to play the ball short.
When he's asked to play short, yes,
He doesn't.
exactly.
And
But
it's
to
whole
be
game.
fair, he's thinking about playing short. He's not thinking about his saves, is he?
Yeah,
The
because
saves
he's only not.
he made that wonderful save beginning of the second half, wasn't it?
Oh,
Very,
that's a
very
terrific save.
stiff-handed from the
Absolutely.
big
And
drive.
the first one was got his
The
leg
first one
down,
off
right?
his leg in the first
Yeah.
few minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I,
They
in
could have
fact,
scored that, actually.
when
They
that
should have
started, I actually thought, oh my goodness, we're going to play dreadfully again, and that was it. I don't think they had another shot in the half. Leeds, we were so all
and
over them.
we were. I mean, you see, the thing is, João Pedro is such a great player. He makes such a difference to us up front.
Yeah.
Ability
He's
to
a
hold the ball.
class act, isn't he? A
Yeah.
really class act.
Yeah, noticed with anguish that Barcelona were apparently looking at João Pedro. I don't understand why.
After a season, are they likely to get him? He's on an 8-year contract, isn't he? Or
No, I
is
know,
it
I know.
a
Yes, he is.
6-year? I mean, it's
Contract, yeah,
unlike. But I think you open up a nice idea here. I think the fact that the teams are talking about picking players from Chelsea means that perhaps they've had the rumble that many players there are discontented, and I think, particularly, I think Enzo won't be there next season.
No, I agree. I
Just
thought that all along.
because I think it would suit the finances of the club because they could then buy 4 not quite so good players, but also. I'm sure that they go away at international breaks and just talk about what's going on in the club. And the club has been so poor at making any advances this season, particularly after winning the Club World. Yeah, we've gone backwards. That I'm sure that and that may be part of the reason for him standing there like this mannequin, just to, which he did it again. He did it again, Gary. Did you see him? He did it again at the end of the.
It's like a matador, actually.
Yeah, it is. It's a matador. Absolutely, it's a matador. Yes, he's got his cape and everything. Yes, it's.
And I thought he always does this.
Yeah, he nods.
So I think is he psyching himself up as well? I mean, at the end of the game, obviously,
psyching himself up to get off the pitch at the end of the game. He has to go away. But he won. In essence, he won the game, didn't he, with his header? I mean, the second half was different because they came at us much more, and we were a bit dozy. And there was a period where I was convinced they'd score.
Yeah, but even then, they didn't really.
No, they didn't.
They didn't. Was going backwards and forwards. It wasn't really. Yeah. And then any ball that came in the box, Chelseablue or Tosin.
Dealt with it absolutely. They dealt with it well.
So I think Callum. I mean, obviously looking at the match afterwards on TV, he was up on. I mean, I couldn't see where he was in the game, but he was up and around and sort of talking to them. So he was actually doing something.
But let's think about this. Did he actually tell them anything at all, other than just they're going to press boot the ball down the pitch? Did he say play your own game, lads?
I think it's what he probably said.
Yeah, but is he allowed to do that with the setup there, with the sporting directors or with the medical department managing it? I know that Cole Palmer didn't start. Was that because he was injured?
Maybe that was one thing he was perhaps told not
to do. Was to
in terms of the actual play. I mean, perhaps he doesn't have to tell them. We said, look, in the dressing room, they're all up for it.
They're all up for it. Yeah, just does that. They're all up for it. And they said, well, we're going to play this way. And they probably said, don't pick Fofana. They told him. He said, you pick Tosin. He's our mate. One more thing before we get to the end was just to talk about the fact that I was bemused that Garnacho started. I thought we'd somehow, we're thinking, can we give a game to the what's his name, Duffy?
She should put Jesse Derry on. Yes. Derry.
Yeah. Whereas once again we saw the man who can actually beat no one ever. He can't actually take anybody on or beat them. I mean, what a great purchase that was.
I mean, the thing is, I always thought at United, whenever I watched times I saw him, he did take people on occasionally.
Yeah, and he was very, very quick, where he appears to have lost it completely, doesn't he?
Yeah, so I don't know what's going on there.
But is this just a disintegration? Is it the way that some players start off well, in the same way that Foden started well, and even that Palmer started well, and they've just injuries
make a huge difference.
Huge difference to them.
I mean, literally with Palmer, it is that half a yard of pace that he's lost.
Yeah,
well, that was so important in his game because he could turn and sort of surprise people with his ball skills, but then he could have the extra yard pace to get away from them. He can't do that.
No, he's not.
That's the biggest problem. So I don't know, but it was, this at the end of the day, it was a solid performance.
Well, in the second half, though, we effectively there was a great moment with about 15 minutes to go, and we got a free kick in their third of the pitch, and only 2 players went up, and all the others hung about on the halfway line.
There was a line of their defenders, and I thought, you're right, 2 people standing
because we were so intent on defending it.
I also did like actually when Sanchez went down with injury. Oh, that was the first time I've seen some professionalism from the team.
Yeah, yeah. But also they had a go at Caicedo, which I thought was unfair because I want to watch the game back on the box. Every tackle on Caicedo, he was injured.
Yeah,
And he went off and took some time coming back on because they'd injured him. So to have a go at Caicedo was unfair because I mean, when we were walking out at the end, one of their fans said, you cheating bastards, bastards. He said, that bloody Caicedo.
I think that's a compliment. I think we've never been called that before.
Absolutely, I love that because it was Eddie Howe from Bournemouth. And even at Newcastle, it was him at his height because that's all they ever did. They got 1-0, get the 1-0 and save the 1-0. You have to change the momentum. And the difference is, it's not as if the referee didn't add the time on at the end. There was still 7 minutes at the end, wasn't there?
Yeah, but I think the funniest thing about the Sanchez sort of break for his injury was that he actually he went down. And I thought, that's a bit over theatrical. He was obviously fine. And either somebody said to him, "Go down," or he realized, and he sort of plopped down.
Yes, he did apparently. Yes, like yes.
Like he said, "Oh, better be injured now." Ooh.
Yeah,
and he sort of
I think he has to have shithousery lessons. He has to.
It worked.
How to bullshit.
It completely stopped their momentum on that move at the time. So it was perfect. But I think there was a bit of professionalism, a bit of guile, a bit of fight.
None of which we've seen under Rossini. It was a very, very different performance.
It was almost a Maresca-like performance when he changed the team. They'd gone back to that.
Yes.
It was almost the first few games under Rossini.
When they were playing Maresca, post-Maresca style.
Yeah, and they've done that. I think they've gone back to that.
Yeah.
And I would think they should keep going the rest of the season that way because that's obviously the most effective way we're going to get results. We've got to show fight, commitment, and
you're playing to the positive side of the team as well. You're playing to the skills. You're playing to Pedro's ability to hold the ball up. You just hope that Pedro doesn't get injured again because then we have the madness of the man with the metal legs, the shins of pewter. Delap comes on the pitch.
What's that? It's like balls bounce off my body perfectly.
Yes.
It's that sort of sign, isn't it?
Yes.
I also hope they give Derry a game because I know he came on the first time and he looked very good. Second game
he played Rossini's style backwards.
That would probably be because he was told to do that. But I'd like to see him actually have a go because he looks like he can beat people.
Yeah, I agree.
Interesting.
I think he's got to with good Gittins, and he's got it. Well, how long will he persist with the man who can never beat anybody, Garnacho?
Well, he's probably Derry's the only other option he's got as a left winger. I noticed we're linked with Anthony Gordon today again.
Oh, I'd love to be linked with him. I'd love to buy him. Is he going to leave Newcastle?
They think there's because Newcastle got financial problems. They may have to sell. So he may. The only thing about him is I didn't realise he's only scored 6 goals this season. He's very good on the ball, but he's not.
Well, he beats people. How many assists has he got?
I don't know. So maybe he's got more assists. But I mean, we desperately need a left winger. That's the problem.
Yeah.
All we've got good right wingers, but no left wingers. Yeah. And we think Neto and Estavio on the right.
Yeah.
And when they're playing on the left, I mean, Neto is better, but they're both not at their best.
Anyway, on to City.
Yes, on to City. Well, betting man would say we've got very little chance, which is probably true, but a lot depends on, again, where they are with the Premier League chase. Because remember,
he may bring on a lot of the reserves as he did against Southampton.
He might. Now, if he does that, I mean, the key would be, one, can we score against their reserves, which Southampton did? And if we could do that, could we defend better than Southampton when they bring on the big boys? So those are the sort of questions you'd have.
Doku is a proper winger who beats people. Clearly wants to beat people. All he does is he'll beat somebody and then stop and beat them again. And you go, that's. I
think the other thing is maybe that if we defend against those wingers, we have to double up on the defence. But there has to be two. There has to be 2 men because he can still beat 2, but it's harder than him to beating 1. They've got to try and shut down the wingers.
But also the history of Chelsea FC is the number of times we've been in a dreadful season and we've won silverware.
Yes.
So we could also just be in a dreadful season and we lose the cup final again as well.
Well, that's it. And also we end up. I mean, at the moment if we get into the top, I think we're currently in the Conference League position at the moment. If Villa win the Europa League, then we're in the Conference League. If they don't, we're not in Europe at all. At 8th at the moment. Right. But it's tight there, so we could nick some a few points. Just a couple of thoughts on the current management merry-go-round that's being talked about.
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
noticed that I mean, whilst Bournemouth manager is still the leading contender, I did notice in a few stories today that there's a little bit more of a movement towards Alonso in the press as well, saying that Xavi Alonso is possibly one of our main targets, who I think would be perfectly good, because he's a proper winner on the field. Players won't look at him and think, "What the hell are you?" I mean, they won't. They won't.
They won't call him the supply teacher.
Well, they can't say, show us your medal because you're so 18.
Yes, he would. He would.
Because he's won not
And
only
he'll
did
show
he
him
win,
the Leverkusen medal for winning the
no, but not
Bundesliga.
but as a Liverpool, he won everything for Liverpool apart from the Premier League. He won 3 titles at Bayern. He won countless titles at Real Madrid and won the World Cup and the Europa League. The European Championship with Spain. So there's a lot of things he's won. And also, as a manager, I mean, yes, he did win the double in Germany and he got to the final of the Europa League. And he's got something about him. My only thing is, would he want to come to
Once
us?
again, would he want to come to Chelsea? And the same with Areola. Would Areola want to come
No,
to
Areola
Chelsea?
would. I think he
You
would.
think he
I
would?
actually think he would jump at it. Yeah,
But
because
also, he'd make the team slightly fitter with a very different style of football.
make
It's a
them fitter,
very different style.
but the problem with him is that with that team it's still the expectation level. He's coming in. If it say was him or Marco Silva, who I think would be not be even worse. But they're both coming in with, and it's the whole thing of the players saying, "Well, show us your medals. You haven't won anything." It's a bit that again, isn't it? Oh yeah, you had a couple of good seasons with Bournemouth, but they're Bournemouth, and I just think there's an issue there that needs to be thought about. That's why Glasner, if they went to Glasner, at least he's got something to say to them.
Yeah.
He has won 3 things,
Yeah.
two titles.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I think Alonso, you're right. Would he want to come? Depends what other offers are around, I suppose. I mean, interestingly, the same agency represents the Bournemouth manager and Alonso.
Yeah.
So perhaps they can talk, what cut price deal we have, what kind of him we'll have him instead. I don't know. But I think more I think about it, we do need somebody that the players firstly has experience, and the players actually think, oh, actually he's probably serious. He could be. I mean, Areola could be a good choice, but it's a risk. It's the Potter saga again, isn't it?
He
It's
had
the
periods with Bournemouth where they didn't play very well. But I think he's worked out how to play in the Premier League, and there's an enormous degree of how fit you are when you play in the Premier League, because they really do run their socks off, Bournemouth.
Yes, yes.
I remember away at the Bournemouth ground. I can't remember what it's called.
And the only thing, remember when he took over Bournemouth,
Stadium.
he had a terrible run.
He did have a terrible run.
First, not really. If he comes to us and has that again, he'll be gone.
He'll be gone. Yeah.
One win I think he had 1 win in 9 games.
Yeah.
And then he turned it round.
Yeah, that was the same as Maresca, wasn't it? And so, but I think ultimately, towards the end of
the second when Maresca came first season, we had a great run up to Christmas. Then we collapsed.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but apparently the only story that's come out is that Chelsea want to make an announcement as soon as the season ends about the next manager.
But really, I thought they were sitting down and thinking about it very carefully.
Well, I think they might be thinking about it now, but
I think they have to if they want to then.
You can't wait around.
Bed the manager in at the beginning of so it's not a surprise, and then they can work out whether he likes any of the players or not.
Well, the players will be gone.
You see, Chelsea have just bought another 16-year-old. Have you just seen that? I couldn't believe it. Oh God!
Well, that just adds to the collection.
Well, just as if anybody now cares about that. You just go, oh God.
I think what will be interesting though is that if they do seriously want to get a bit more emotionally. What's the phrase? Emotionally developed players, I think they called it. But I mean, unfortunately, I always look and think, well, John Stones is leaving City on a free, very good player, but he's too injury prone. But he's the sort of player that you would want to bring in, somebody that's really won a lot of things and has got the experience that we need.
I'd be surprised if they buy a centre half when now they've got Colwell back.
No, apparently that's one on them that they do want centre half, because if you think about it, if you think Fofana is risky now. I'm not convinced that he's the man for the job. Chalobah, I suppose they could play Chalobah and Colwell, but I think they might want to look for another centre back. Depends. We're in Europe. If we're not in Europe, they don't need them. Really?
All
Think
will
about
be
it.
all will be revealed in the next 5 games.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Forest next week. Good.
Well, we know we Forest next week, but at least we're going there with. I mean, I hope he just carries on, just telling them play the way you like. I mean, I'm sure he will. I'm sure not going to start telling them what to do. But it certainly. I just think that the direct ball from the goalkeeper kick. He's got a good kick as well. When he kicks it up, it's powerful. You've got somebody that can actually control the ball. It makes such a difference.
Yeah.
Kicking up to Delap was a waste of time because it just comes all the way back.
No, it
But
bounces off him.
yeah,
Bounces off him beautifully.
yeah,
Bounces off. Well, meanwhile, while he's trying to kick the centre half or steamroller them with actually not looking at the ball at all, the ball just comes back. Yes, you're right.
yeah, no, no. But Pedro, Pedro is going to control. I mean, he's either going to control, and if he doesn't, he's going to cause a problem to the defender by whatever
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
doing.
yeah.
And I think that's the key. He has to stay fit. I mean, that's how. If he gets injured again, that's our season is over.
Oh, completely.
So,
But that's why
but
you need a proper backup. Mind you, we get Jackson back next year, so woohoo.
well, he's coming back. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't know whether. I mean, actually, I didn't realize he scored 10 goals for Bayern this season.
Well,
I mean,
they haven't offered him a contract, so clearly didn't.
we didn't play that many games, but he did.
No.
He has scored 10 in total. Apparently, scored in three in the last 3 games for them. But that's after they've won everything, so nobody's that worried. But I think they'll try and get rid of Jackson. I think actually, I think they'll have this, the Strasbourg striker coming. See, Delap doesn't want to leave. He wants to carry on and fight for his place. Apparently,
Oh, really?
yeah.
It might be out of his hands, I think.
Yes, possibly.
I
I mean,
hope
I
so.
think we're just going to have to wait and see because it's the period of self-reflection is what I'm thinking about. If they self-reflect, perhaps they look and think, well, actually, we're actually quite good, really.
Yeah, we've done well. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
earning. They think we're earning a lot of money. We'll stay.
yeah. And also, listen, if we do win the FA Cup, then it's game over. Of course, we think,
Well,
oh,
yeah. If it's been a great season, if we're in the FA
yeah,
Cup,
yes.
hey,
And it's all down to Maresca leaving us. He suddenly walked out on us.
yeah,
And
it was his fault. But we've
yeah,
done well. We've done brilliantly winning the FA Cup. What a good
yeah,
team we
yeah.
are. Yeah.
You can see all the lines of
Already, why are all the fans complaining? Well, they're just, what's the matter with them? They don't know anything about football.
no, 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 exactly. So we shall see. But I would say certainly it was a good day out at Wembley. We all felt that,
Yeah, good.
which was nice. Nice to feel at the end of the game. Actually, we played well.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed, other than my
Yeah,
experience with them thinking I'd used the ticket before, or it was a screenshot, and I then couldn't get in. But then I got in
yeah,
eventually.
you were there.
I was
And
there.
a 1-0 win for us is actually quite a good win, I think, because
It's
we
rare.
don't do
No,
one
we
nil
don't
wins.
do them.
And I think keeping the clean sheet was good.
Good.
So
I'll read.
onward.
Let's leave it there. I'm Jonathan. That's Gary. We have been Chelsea Blue, and more
Everybody,
reviews and analysis from us
yes.
next time. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. See you soon.
Cheerio.